Welcome to the first episode of Modeling 101, brought to you by Scythe Model Works. Ever since I started my YouTube channel, I have been getting comments asking me how I do certain things, so I thought of making this series to share how I build Gunpla and Pla models in general. Modeling 101 is a tutorial series from beginners to experts where I cover all the basic skills such as pieces removal, nummark cleanup, sanding, seam welding, to more advanced skills such as panel line enhancement, detailing, plot plate, photo edge parts attachment, etc. Some of the terms might sound overwhelming right now, but trust me, they're not this complicated. By the end of this entire series, you will have the skills to become a Gunpla master. Today, let us start with the super basic topic, straight build. Straight build is a pretty straightforward term. Straight builds are Gunpla assembled straight out of their boxes without any modifications. Another common term is OOB, which stands for out-of-box build. I know for many of you out there, straight building is super basic. However, if you're looking to get into this hobby, I am sure you have questions. What is Gunpla? What tools should I buy? How much does it cost to build Gunpla? So without further ado, let us get into the main topic today. I will answer all these questions and show you how to start Gunpla with the bare minimum of tools. In the second part of this episode, I will also compare some tools in the market to give you an idea of which tools are the best for you. Gunpla is the official term for Gundam plastic model. All Gunpla kits are manufactured by the famous Japanese company Bandai. So how much do they cost? It really depends on the kit. Gunpla is costly, but not all that costly. Some super expensive kits can go very high, but some are super affordable. For example, the high-grade RX-78 Gundam Revive we use today only retails for $16, but the famous high-grade GPO3 Dendrobium retails for about $300. So at the end of the day, it is really your choice on how much money you want to spend. There are over 2,000 Gunpla kits out there, and I'm sure you can find the right one just for you. There is a lot of information on the box, such as name, scale, and a grading system by Bandai. For now, you only need to remember that high grade is 1 to 144 scale, which is about 4 to 6 inches tall. Real grade is a more detailed version of a high grade. Master grade is 1 to 100 scale, and perfect grade is 1 to 60. If the grading system does not show on the box, there are usually high grade quality in different scales. I know there are a lot more exceptions out there, and I will do a specific video to get more in depth with the different kinds of Gunpla models. So please subscribe to this channel and look forward for that video. Next, let's talk about tools. Before we start, I want to say that this series will be based on how I build Gunpla and what worked for me. If you have more efficient or different ways, please feel free to share in the comments. If I find what you said super important, I will mention it at the end of the next episode. Also, if you have questions, feel free to leave them in the comments as well. I will try my best to answer them all. To determine which tools to get, we have to understand why we need tools for Gunpla. When you've opened a Gunpla, usually we will see the following items: the instruction manual, sticker sheet, and runners. These are officially called runners. Some other common names include spruces and trees. I suggest you stick with runners since it's the most official. The connection between the Gunpla part and the runner is called a gate. Usually, 2 to 3 gates connect the Gunpla part to the runner. To build a Gunpla, you want to remove all the Gunpla parts from the runner. To perform this step, you will need a side cutter, also known as a hobby nipper. Here is a standard hobby nipper. In a way, it looks like a wire cutter. The difference between a hobby nipper and a wire cutter is that the hobby nipper is designed for this hobby specifically. It provides a better grip for making clean, straight cuts. On the contrary, since wire cutters are for wire cutting, firm grip and cut qualities are not considered for this design. You can technically build models with a wire cutter, but you will end up with more cleanups, which is a waste of time. However, wire cutters are usually way cheaper, so if you're patient and want to try building Gunpla model only once in your life, then they could be a good choice. I will be comparing some of the nippers on the market in the second half of this episode, so you know which one is the best one for you. When a Gunpla piece is cut off from the runner through the gate, the excessive parts of the runner are called nummarks. They will get into the way of the assembly, so we try our best to clean them off. To use the hobby nipper, I recommend the 2-cut method for beginners. You make the first cut distancing the gate from the runner and the second cut to trim down the num mark more. Doing this prevents damaging the pieces and will allow you to have more rooms for error. Of course, we will need an additional step to clean the num mark further. You have two choices. Use sandpaper or a craft knife. Since this is a beginner tutorial, I assume you don't want to get into Gunpla with too much confusion. For this reason, I will only show you how to use the craft knife. I have been using only hobby nipper and craft knife for straight assembly for more than 2 decades. Believe me, if you only wish to build Gunpla out of the box, you don't need sandpaper. However, if you wish to improve your Gunpla quality, then sandpaper is necessary. For episode 2, I will go over every detail on sanding. So if you want to know more, please subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for my latest updates. To use the craft knife, gently shave off the num mark, and the Gunpla piece is ready to assemble. Be very careful when proceeding with the craft knife. The edge is very sharp and you don't want to hurt yourself in the process. Here is how I do it. Gently hold the grip with your right hand and push the blade forward with your left hand while holding the piece. Make sure your finger is not blocking the edge of the blade. Do not add any force on your right hand and follow through with the motion. Take as many shaves as you want, but be careful not to cut into the parts and damage them. I suggest practicing this method on the side a few times before proceeding with your first build. The speed and precision of this process will improve as you build more. If you find num mark cleaning like this extremely difficult, please look forward to the next episode of Modeling 101. When building a Gunpla, we gather and assemble the parts accordingly to the manual. As we speak of the manual, here is a manual for Gunpla. For simpler kits, the manual usually is printed on one piece of paper. The first page of the manual always shows all the runners. Here's a little trivia. The Gunpla box usually does not have seals. Bandai did that specifically for you to check the parts. If your model does have clear tapes or seals, chances are the secondary sellers added them to prevent theft. The newer Gunpla models comes with English instructions to make it more clear. Here are some icons you need to know. The X number sign means you need to do the same steps for the same number of times indicated. The sticker sign means to use a sticker with the same number. This sign right here means you have the option to select one of the two parts and attach it. The last two signs did not appear for this specific kit. One means to move the opposite side as well, and the other means to use identical parts for each side. The manual is super easy to read. Match the letter and the numbers on the runner to the pictures on the manual. As long as you assemble accordingly, you can build a Gunpla. Remember that shorter arrowed parts have more priority than longer ones, meaning you put on those parts first. Congratulations! If you follow through the video, now you know how to build a Gunpla out of the box. Now you might be wondering, what tools should you choose from all the brands out there? In part 2, I will recommend the right hobby nipper and craft knife for you. Click here to find out more.